Right, where's the light switch gone? Now this I've been looking for a long time. Not this, not the Model MR2, which I never finished. This, every time I go into the loft, I go past this old thing. And I wonder if it still works. It needs the front suspension sorting out, because that's not going to look that way. Let's take this downstairs and see if it goes. Should probably see if this still works as well at some point. That's a job for another day. Now for years, every time I've climbed up the ladder into the loft, this thing is looking sad and forlorn right at the top of the loft ladder, just saying, "Take me out, race me. We've got loads of woods around here. Let's go for a blast down some dirt tracks." Now I wonder what state it's actually in electronically and electrically. I can see we've broken the top of the casing many years ago. Probably fix that with a bit of fiberglass or something. So this is a barn find radio control car sat on the barn find Mercedes. I brought it outside to quite literally blow the dust and cobwebs off it, because it's been in the attic for about 25 or 30 years, and it's on the dusty side there, and the tyres on this thing actually look even more perished than the tyres on the Mercedes it's sat on. So I think I might be ordering some spare parts for this thing before I take it for a drive, and also I need to find out if it still works. So first of all, what state are all the parts in? Here's the electronics that make the thing go. Got the Futaba receiver, Futaba speed controller, and the steering servo. Now you might be noticing the steering wheels, or the front wheels, are not at the correct angle. This is the correct angle. What holds these together is actually an ingenious yet disastrous plan, because these two screws here anchor a rubber band across the front of the car, so it holds it tight like that, pressed up against there. And the idea is that it gives it a lot of crashback safety, so if you smash the front wheel into something, that rubber band stretches and ultimately the rubber band will break before any of the plastic parts. So you can have a few rubber bands in your bag, rather than having to have lots of expensive suspension components. And the way this actually works is quite ingenious. It's very like Rover P6 is actually. It's partly why I used to like this thing so much. So as the suspension goes up, it pushes that bar there, and you have a horizontal shock absorber, just like on a Rover P6. You see that action going there? Oops. You see that action going like that? That is absolutely ingenious. This is a Schumacher Top Cat, which was based on like a world-beating real buggy back in the 80s, and I got this for my birthday back in about 1989 or so, I think. Back when like, the Tamias were all sort of taking off to a crazy level. Everyone had Lunchbox, Grasshopper, that kind of thing, and somewhere my dad found this. It was pre-built, so someone had raced it and then given up on racing, I guess, because this is quite a high level kit, which cost, I think, new a fair bit more than the Tamiya's, but it actually did 40 miles an hour, which is amazing. Schumacher is a British radio control car manufacturer who started life in the late 70s, concentrating on sort of high-end racing products. And this thing, the Top Cat, came out in, I think, 1986. Turns out it's been re-released now, which means I can get all the replacement parts, which I couldn't for years and years, which is why this languished in the loft for so long. Right, so first of all, I'm going to go dig out the battery charger and see if I've still got a battery for it, and see if that works. Now this thing was fast in its day, it was almost uncontrollably fast. Even though it had that O-ring crashback system, I still broke quite a few of these front wishbone things. Well, stage one of this whole exercise is seeing if any of the electrical parts still work after so long in the loft. First of all, there's the charger, which this thing has not used or been used in a long time. Okay, right, so it's all plugged in. Let's turn the power onto the car. I'm going to say, hang on, looks like my charger's dead. Okay, we appear to have hit our first stumbling block. The Charger-matic is no more. Right, so as the original 1990, I guess it must be, or 1991 or so, or 89 perhaps. Charger no longer worked. £6.50, and a day later, plus postage obviously, its new power jack for my Ansman charger has just arrived. So let's unplug the draper. Look, this one-handed stuff is never the easiest. Oh, hang on, phone going down for a moment. This isn't the phone on the gimbal, this is merely my iPhone being plonked on a toolbox. I'm doing this out in the garden in case, or in the garage, in case this decides to explode. Let's see if the little light comes on when I plug this in. Plugged in, good. There doesn't appear to be a little light coming on. No little light. So the battery's knackered, so the charger's pretty fine and the battery's knackered. Eagle-eyed people here will be wondering about possibly the time frame regarding this, because everything's being found to be broken and then taking a day to post a new thing and then it's arriving later. This is the alternator for the Mercedes W123, and this has got some bolts in it now, which a very nice person sent to me in the post this week. Haha, so that's kind of happening. So I left this plugged in a long time and eventually it woke up and started charging. Yay! Now the other thing to find out if it still works, the other first thing is, does this remote still work? Now clearly the rubber foam padding for the steering wheel thing gave up a long time ago because it's got gaffer tape around it. I did go and raid. This thing takes 8 AA batteries, so I had to go and raid 2 flash guns. Both of my Nikon flash guns are now batteryless, so I hope I don't need them for any particular jobs in the near future. And does it work? It's got a little power meter on it, things. It's handy that way. Yeah, it comes alive. So presumably this thing probably works. And it's got a crystal in it. I always say I'm a tyre stop and fit decent tyres to real cars, so radio control ones should be no different. And the front ones are actually still quite elastic and quite good, but there's not really much in the way of tread left. This is the good rear tyre. You can sort of see how much that's cracking. The other one though, that's not great. The car's not going to drive on that. Can't even hold a round shape anymore. Don't think I can even get that to pop back into a circle anymore. It's completely toast. In fact, the hub is now spinning inside. There we go, the hub's spinning inside the tyre. I was wondering whether I could take these tyres off or if I needed to go and buy complete new wheel sets, but I think I'll be alright with just new tyres. So here I am in my race workshop now on the roof of the W123. I've had to go get my hat because I'm being dazzled by the sun. I need sunglasses as well. But the main thing is to see whether or not these tyres do come off, which I think they actually do dismount. Yes, they do really easily. I thought it might be a struggle that needed tools, but no. Oh, if only car tyres were as simple as this to take on, off and on. Now these are the old original racing lugs. They're directional as well, believe it or not. These are super grippers. Not anymore, they're brittle, super brittle, rather than anything else these days. Oh, come on you. Yeah, this is actually falling apart. 2.5 by 20. What to? Wow. I've never seen a tyre come apart that badly before. That is, I'm going to say past its best. And I still can't get it to hold a shape. This is one racing tyre that's not going to be turned into a coffee table in anyone's lounge. So I need to get some new tyres for this thing now. Now let's go see if the battery's taken a charge or not. Well, as you saw in the last little clip a moment ago, this did eventually, after being left on for a long period of time, start to take a charge. It's 6 1.2 volts, which makes up a total of 7.2. And let's see if it's actually taken anything. So, because it's been dead for so long, what I did was leave it, let it charge for 45 minutes, turn it off for a little while, turn it on again, just give it a bit more of a boost and left it for a long time, not let it overheat, just on and off. And we are now at 4.27. I don't think that's enough to do anything, do you? As we are now, well, 3-4 volts short of what it should be taking to do anything. I will just try it in there, just to see if anything wakes up. 4.26. I'll try it in there just to see if anything wakes up at all, but I suspect it won't even be enough to turn the steering. Not even a glimmer. I'm seeing nothing. There's no light on the receiver. Nothing. Okay. I'm going to need to go and get a new battery as well. So my shopping list, like everything else in my fleet of cars, is growing. Well, I've had a box of bits and pieces turn up, and I'm getting boxes and bits and pieces for every car it seems at the moment, but this one is for the tiny car. I found a place up in Leeds in Yorkshire which specialises in radio control cars, and they're remanufacturing all the old Schumacher stuff again. This is brilliant. So I've got tyres, I've got the control bands, I've got battery which is now actually on charge right now, so hopefully in a few minutes I can give this a whirl and see if it actually works again. Now I've gone for the full spike tyres, which is kind of what it came with, and now the yellow, which are the softer compound, which will wear out faster, but more chance of it not crashing into stuff and breaking. Oh, look at these. Smell like brand new tyres. Even little Schumacher writing on it as well. Schumacher Cat. Awesome. These are significantly better than the old ones, which crumbled to dust. These ones look like they've got a fair degree more grip to them. Brilliant. Front, one rear tyre, awesome. And these are the full spike front tyres, which are quite a bit narrower because it is a staggered offset on these things because it's a buggy. This has been quite heavily curbed by the look of it. Looking good. Okay, the last thing here is actually probably the most significant of all. It's these little rubber bands. £1.99 for a pair set of these. There are, I believe, 3 in there. The crashback bands, which is not a 1970s group. The crashback band. Yep. You get it? The crashback. Forget it. Okay, so this needs to hook onto. In fact, I need to slacken off, I think, these 2 screws. It's a long time since I've done this. I don't really remember how it happened before. And this is going by what I've seen on pictures on the internet. So if I'm doing this wrong, someone let me know, because I can't see anything else for it to connect onto. It's many years since I've done it. Yeah, seems good. Right, let's do a bit of tyre fitting. Oh, I'd kind of forgotten this, that there is actually a little kind of square hex pattern which marries into the back of these wheels, so they do actually fit correctly. So if only real cars were as easy to work on as this. Well, saying that, it doesn't actually work yet, so let's not get too carried away. It has got a proper differential in this thing. I must say, this old Mercedes makes a great worktop. Oh yeah, much better. Look at the articulation. This thing can bounce with the best of them. Just a few minutes now for the battery to finish charging, then go and see if this actually still works or not. Right, the battery has just finished charging, so let's see what happens. So always turn the remote on first, just to make sure you're safe. Connect the battery and see what happens. It works, that's for sure. Phew, set the trim right. That is the, whoops, a bit delicate. And reverse. Reverse works too, very quickly. Oh, bit stiff on turning right. It's happy with left and right, wonder why. What's up with that, I wonder? Oh, it's okay now. It's just a bit stiff perhaps. Oh no, there's a bit of rubber caught in it. That's one of the old crash back bands. It's caught in the suspension. Right, let's see if this thing actually can drive anywhere. That's why you have the crash back band. Right, two little things. It seems to run out of range very, very close to home, as in just a few feet away. And secondly, I've just managed to pull the cable off the... Yeah, the trim needs a bit of fine tuning still. It's a bit twitchy at the moment. It does seem determined to drive off on its own, I'm not quite sure why. Oh, come back. Okay, when I go into reverse, it's making some very peculiar noises. I think the motor may have come loose from the gearbox, so I'll quickly open that and maybe give it a bit of grease. Right. Well, that seemed to go relatively well for a first try in about 30 odd years. Let's get its gearbox cover off and see what we can see. This, by the way, that I'm resting on is an oil filter for the black Rover V8. It's actually the second oil filter I got because I thought it took an SD1 oil filter, so I ordered one of those, and when it turned up it didn't fit, so it looks like, I mean, looking back at an old oil filter packet that I've kept for it, it looks like it's actually a P6 filter, or sorry, oil pump that's still on that car. The O-ring's falling off that. What's loose? The motor's loose, okay. How's the motor held in, I wonder? It is a couple of Allen keys. I don't know if you can see this or not, but there are a pair of Allen keys that hold the motor in place here. Just need to butt it up tight against this drive gear and tighten it up. Let's hold it tight against that. Nice and tight. It's actually quite loose, really. Surprisingly loose, considering it's not done anything in a long time. Oh, and the rear suspension's quite loose as well. I'll tighten that up too. This is ridiculously tight. I'm in tight access. I'm in pretty to take the entire gearbox out to get to there into this screw, which that's better. I wonder if I've got a spanner tiny enough to go onto that. I suspect not. When that all tightened up, now a little bit of silicone spray lube. I can get on there. Or not. Maybe I'll use something else. So I've caught the last rays of the evening out in this field on a nice deserted track, so I can see if this thing still does do 40 miles an hour like it used to. There's not too much to crash into tonight. Let's see if this GoPro mount will last longer than the takeoff as well. Yeah, it wasn't great. Let's see if there's any power left in that battery. Oh, not a lot. I think it's nearly dead now. Oh, and the GoPro's fallen off. Let's call it a night. Oh, it's got decent chassis articulation to get over that, over the GoPro. Oh, come back, car. Well, this has been hilariously good fun, absolutely reliving my youth. I mean, look at this thing. This two-tone neon fade is the most 80s thing I've ever seen. If only this thing had pop-up headlights or windscreen washers on wipers on the lamps, which it hasn't got anyway. Well, there's a few more things to dial in. The trim and adjustments aren't quite right, so it does still kind of go off on its own sideways a bit. The battery life is way too short, so I need a few more batteries for it, and it goes out of range really close to home, so I guess I need to sort out the antenna as well. And the power leads to the motor dropped off a couple of times, so I'll get some new connectors on that as well. Basically, it's a learning curve and a rebuilding back into the getting back in the swing of things, really. Thank you for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed me just hooning around and reliving my youth, because basically what this video was. This is the excuse I've been looking for many years to dig this thing out the attic and see if it still works, and I'm glad to say it still does, even though it cost me a few pounds to get it working again, what with new tyres, battery, charger, the O-bands, that kind of stuff, but still cheaper than real cars. If you've enjoyed this, please hit subscribe, please do hit like. If you want to consider becoming a channel member or Patreon, that makes a massive difference to doing stupid stuff like this on tiny cars, or keeping the actual real full-size ones going as well. And now that I can leave the house and go to garages and things, there'll be lots more actual real test drives of real cars coming too as well. Fantastic, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you again soon. Everyone stay safe and stay tuned to the next Furious Drive.